Welcome everyone, welcome to the weekly current affairs session for environment, science and technology. We'll be covering the current affairs for the past 1 week, that is from November 23rd to November 30th. First of all, let's see what is the index for today, what are the topics that we will be covering. The first topic is pangolins, the second is sites, the third one is rare Jaipur ground gecko, the fourth one is UN Champions of Earth Award, fifth one is PSLV C54 and the sixth one is antimicrobial resistance. See, all these topics are very important, whatever topics that we are covering today. Good afternoon, Vaibhav. So all these 6 topics have been taken in this index, have been taken in today's discussion because these are very important, not just from your prelims point of view but from mains point of view as well. So just hold on, just follow the discussion, whatever facts are being discussed, just stay with us. Before that, the Seize the Mains daily answer writing challenge is working parallelly on our website rajisacademy.com. We upload one question every day at 2:30 p.m. on our website. The question for today is explain antimicrobial resistance and its causes and list the initiatives to tackle the issue of antimicrobial resistance at national as well as global levels. Answer in 250 words. So see, right now we will be having discussion regarding antimicrobial resistance. It is on our index. After understanding antimicrobial resistance as the 6th topic, you will be very easily able to answer this particular question. Try to answer the question posted on our website as soon as possible and our team will evaluate your answers in the next 3 days and respond back with their feedback. Even if you feel that you're not confident enough to answer these questions, answer this particular question, I will see you at 9 p.m. today in Seize the Mains daily answer writing initiative where we will discuss the detailed answer for this question and I will tell you how to answer this question properly to get more marks. So, alright, Sardha and Siddhi. The first topic is, as you can see in the picture, I have this picture of an animal. As you can see, this animal has a lot of scales on its body. Here is the mouth, there are the feet and a lot of scales are there on the body of this animal. This animal is known as pangolin. So, pangolin, it has been understood as the most ट्रैफिक्ड एनिमल ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. सबसे ज़्यादा इलीगल हंटिंग इस एनिमल की होती है फॉर वेरियस रीजंस ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड वेर एवर इट इज़ फाउंड. सो रिसेंटली द COP19 ऑफ साइट्स कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज 19 of this particular convention, this is your convention on international trade in endangered species of wild flora and fauna, which is also known as the Washington Convention. In short, CITES is the name for this convention. Now what is this convention about? First of all, let me tell you, COP28 जो है recently हुआ था, that was about United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. हर convention से associated कुछ ना कुछ meeting होती है members की, whatever member countries are there, they meet from time to time for every convention and that is known as COP of that convention or Conference of Parties. So Conference of Parties 19, that is the 19th meeting of CITES was held recently. ये 2-3 साल में एक बार meeting होती है इन सब member nations की. And what is CITES about? ये जो convention है, convention is basically a document, it is an understanding. Countries sign it, countries ratify it and they say after ratification कि जो भी इस convention में इस document में rules mention है, we will abide by those rules. So what is this convention about? This convention is about that if there are certain plants and animals जिनके international trade की वजह से for commercial reasons if international trade is carried out, then there is threat to survival of these plants and animals, then those trading practices or trade in those international wildlife species of plants and animals is regulated by this convention. ये convention basically रोकथाम लगाती है कि international trade कुछ प्लांट और एनिमल की स्पीशीज में नहीं होना चाहिए. ऐसी 36,000 स्पीशीज है जो कि साइट्स में लिस्टेड है and these 36,000 species have been classified as vulnerable to extinction, कि इनकी जो extinction है वो ज़्यादा बढ़ सकती है if trading happens. For example, how many Asiatic lions do we have? We have around 600 to 700 Asiatic lions. Tigers का भी जो status है, that is around 6,000 tigers are there in the country as of now. So if animals like these, जिनकी protection बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कंट्री के लिए एंड पूरे वर्ल्ड के लिए, अब मान लीजिए कि कमर्शियल रीजंस की वजह से, फॉर एग्जांपल फॉर देयर मीट, फॉर देयर फर, फॉर देयर कोट, फॉर देयर टीथ, इफ trading is taking place, if people kill them and trading in such wild animals or their trophies takes place, then what will happen to these animals? They will go extinct from earth. So ऐसी species को regulate करता है CITES. Now what you have to see here is that there are 3 appendices और 3 chapters है CITES के अंदर. जो first appendix है, appendix 1, that covers 3% of the 36,000 species. इस appendix में जो भी species आती हैं उनका international trade allowed नहीं होता. International commercial trade is generally prohibited. So commercial trade हो ही नहीं सकता है. So if somebody is caught trading in these species of animals or plants, then उन पर criminal liability होती है. They are subject to jurisdiction of that particular nation. They are liable. अपेंडिक्स 2 में जो भी आपकी स्पीशीज आती है, अपेंडिक्स 2 में जो भी प्लांट्स या एनिमल्स के नाम हैं जो भी एनलिस्टेड हैं, दीज स्पीशीज इन देम इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड is regulated. International trade can take place under certain circumstances, but it is very much regulated. The third one is appendix 3. So this covers 1% of the species. Your maximum species are here in 97%. So in the appendix 3 only those species are covered जिनके ट्रेड से एक पर्टिकुलर कंट्री को बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान हो रहा है एंड दे नीड कोऑपरेशन एंड कोलैबोरेशन और हेल्प ऑफ अदर कंट्रीज टू प्रिवेंट दिस इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड फ्रॉम हैपनिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल ऐसी कोई कंट्री हो सकती है जहाँ से एक प्लांट की स्पीशीज है वो सिर्फ इंडिया में ही एक्सपोर्ट होती है. सो इफ इंडिया कोलैबोरेट्स विद दैट कंट्री, इफ इंडिया हेल्प्स दैट कंट्री आउट, then that trade or that export import, that business can be stopped. So those species, they are listed in appendix 3 where parties need some collaboration of other members. So species subject to regulation within the jurisdiction of a party and for which the cooperation of other parties is needed. So mostly जो सबसे ज़्यादा threatened, for example your critically endangered species जो होती है आपकी IUCN Red List के according, you will find them in appendix 1. Now what is the news here? COP19 और Conference of Parties 19 जो साइट्स का हुआ है, अंडर दैट दे हैव रिकमेंडेड दैट जो भी ड्रग मेकिंग में वट एवर मेडिसिन स्पेसिफाई यूज ऑफ पार्ट्स ऑफ पैंगोलिन शुड बी डिलीटेड फ्रॉम दोज मेडिसिन. तो आपका जो ये ऑफिशियल फार्माकोपिया होता है जिसमें मेडिसिन या ड्रग्स बनाने की चीज़ें या इंग्रेडिएंट्स मेंशन्ड होते हैं, दे हैव आस्क्ड that the reference to pangolins that should be removed entirely from this book. And why should it be removed? Because क्योंकि pangolin ऐसी काफ़ी ज़्यादा medicinal practices में use होता है, that's why इसकी hunting बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. So let's see what are pangolins here. What are pangolins? What kind of animals they are? I think from the picture you can see that they are scaly animals. Scaly animals दिखने में बड़ा लग रहा है, but otherwise it is a small animal. It only eats ants. सिर्फ ants खाता है. It is a scaly ant eater and it is the most trafficked animal in the world. These animals are not oviparous. They are mammals. They eat ants. They eat termites and larvae and are often known as scaly ant eater. As I just said. There are 8 species of pangolins. Pangolins के भी आगे बहुत types होते हैं. So 8 species of pangolins are found all over the world. इसमें से 8 में से जो 2 species है, Indian pangolin and Chinese pangolin. Don't go after the name. Indian pangolin species and Chinese pangolin species, both of them are found in India. India में 2 species मिलती हैं 8 में से, and उनका जो 8 species हैं, they are found only on 2 continents, and the continents are Asia and Africa. They range from vulnerable to critically endangered. We'll see in a while. But this is something that you have to remember, that in India your Chinese pangolin and Indian pangolin are found. So don't get confused by the word Chinese pangolin that it must be in China only. No, that is not the case. What is the protection status? Protection status that they are listed in Schedule 1 Part 1 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So जो आपका national law है उसके under highest protection है. We have a Wildlife Protection Act to protect all kinds of biodiversity in the country, and the highest protection as of now, not the amendment but as of now, it is provided under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. In sites के हमने अभी 3 appendices के बारे में पढ़ा. In like out of all the 3 appendices of sites, Appendix 1 has the highest protection, and that is given to 3% out of 36,000 species. So pangolin is covered in Appendix 1 of sites. And the IUCN status, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, एक red data book आती है इनकी, and under this red data book, species or biodiversity, they are classified according to the vulnerability status. क्या वो species critically endangered है, that is it might go extinct in the coming years, is it endangered, is it vulnerable, or is it least concerned. So Indian pangolin, that is the first species found in India, that is endangered, but Chinese pangolin, that is the second species found in India, that is critically endangered. Now what is the geographical span? Again, as I told you, 8 species found in Asia and Africa. Now threats, what can be the first threat about this pangolin? इनकी habitat खराब हो सकता है. There could be hunting, there could be hunting for meat, there could be hunting for their scales, for making other products, for making commercial products, and there is hunting because a lot of medicines, especially in the Chinese culture, they are made by hunting these animals. So this is a map that we have here from IUCN SSC Pangolin Specialist Group. Let's start from India first. India, in this dark blue, you have reference to Indian pangolin, as you can see. So your Indian pangolin is found almost all over the country. I'm zooming it out for you, zooming it in for you. So this thing in this shaded part in blue, which this reference, this is your Indian pangolin. The other part in dark blue or your violet color, that is Chinese pangolin. So as you can see, this part refers to Chinese pangolin. Then you have Philippine pangolin, which is obviously found near in Philippines. So again, it is part of Southeast Asia. Then also you have Sunda pangolin. For India, you have to remember that apart from these 2 species, Chinese and Indian, no other species is found in India. Sunda is found in Indonesia, all parts of Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. You can see Sunda pangolin there. And then you have species of pangolin in Africa. You have white-bellied pangolin, you have giant pangolin, you have black-bellied pangolin, and you have ground pangolin. Pangolins in Africa, they are not critically endangered or endangered. Pangolins in India, they are endangered and critically endangered, as we studied. So this is very important animal for India, most importantly. Again, you don't have to take the notes of this session. The entire discussions PPT that is running behind me, this will be uploaded as a PDF on our Telegram channel, which is Raj Malhotra's IAS. So after this discussion, you can go to our Telegram channel and download the entire PDF with the pictures. So you don't have to worry about noting things or making any maps. Also, let me know in the comment section if there is any doubt with regards to this topic. Webber, I'll take this out at the end, that is about your preparation. Okay, Sham, I've got these requests regarding whatever I write on the board earlier also. See, sometimes there are certain concepts which are not included in the PPT, I understand, and I find them necessary to explain a certain topic. But in the coming lectures, they will be inculcated. For example, today the PPT is wide enough, it is detailed and detailed enough to cover the static part of the syllabus also. So earlier we were not covering the static concepts, they are covered in our classroom sessions in the GS course that we are running, but from now onwards we are including that also in our PPT, so don't worry about it. Webhub COP 27 and 28, just refer to previous Wednesday's lecture. We have covered COP 27, we've read a little bit about COP 28 also. So just refer to previous Wednesday's current affairs weekly lecture for environment, science and technology. Alright, so let's move on to the next topic. There is the species of gecko. Gecko looks like a lizard की तरह ये दिखता है. So there is Jaipur ground gecko. This has been listed in Appendix 2 of sites to control its trafficking. So with regards to sites, at this COP 19, this species was enlisted in Appendix 2. So this is again an important news that is coming. So this gecko, this is found in the eastern Ghats of India. You have the western Ghats on the western coast and you have eastern Ghats on the eastern coast. So it is found in the eastern Ghats of India here, and it is endemic to India. सिर्फ इंडिया में मिलता है, इंडिया के ईस्टर्न घाट्स में मिलता है और कहीं नहीं मिलता. So what are the states that are located on the eastern Ghats? Your Odisha would be there, parts of West Bengal would be there, your parts of Tamil Nadu are there, and parts of Andhra Pradesh are there. So if I'm talking about eastern Ghats, then you can be very sure that this would be found in 4-5 states in India. So recently the Jaipur ground gecko has been included in Appendix 2 of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna, which means that trade in this particular species, अगर इस gecko का international trade carry out करना है, now this is endemic to India, so if it has to go out of India for commercial purposes, अगर कोई इसकी hunting करके इनकी skin को किसी और product में convert करके sell off करना चाहते हैं, that is your commercial purposes, so a lot of restrictions would be placed now, as the IUCN status for this particular species is endangered. Now since it has come in Appendix 2, so international trade would be regulated. It is not prohibited, but it is regulated. Under Wildlife Protection Act 1972, it is not listed as of now because it was recently found that this species is threatened, it is moving towards extinction. So let's read about it a bit, that it is a reptile endemic to India found in the eastern Ghats. It is known to be present in 4 locations, including southern Odisha, northern Andhra Pradesh. That is your states having eastern Ghats. Then what are the threats to this endangered animal, endangered gecko species? Habitat loss and degradation, that is because we are moving towards becoming the highest population. So yes, we need more space as human beings, and habitat loss is occurring in many parts of the country. So this is always the first threat that is happening to any of the animal or plant species, we can say. Poaching for domestic and international trade, that is where your sites comes in. Forest fires, that is again a very big problem for India. Tourism, quarrying and mining activity. Quarrying and mining activity, it is carried out in eastern Ghats. जो आपकी eastern coast है, जो eastern Ghats है, they are rich in minerals at some points or at some divisions. So mining activity उधर बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. That's why there is threat to its population. The regulation is needed to prevent illegal export and control the activities in India. So this step is coming at the right time. That is what they want to say. Moving on to the next topic. This is one of the most important topics for today. United Nations Environment Program. That is the agency that works for protection of environment all over the globe. उनका एक award होता है that is UN's Champions of the Earth Award. This is the biggest environmental honor that is given to anyone all over the globe. So if somebody is working or if some organization is working to protect the environment, then this is the highest honor they can get. And this honor has been received by one Dr. Purnima Devi. Dr. Purnima Devi, she worked to conserve the population of adjutant stock, or I'll show you the picture here. Yes, greater adjutant stock which is found in parts of Assam. इनकी population बहुत ज़्यादा dwindle कर रही थी. To protect, to conserve this particular species, she ran a mission. एक इनका एक हरगीला आर्मी नाम से एक group of women है which she has been leading for decades. Hargila is the indigenous name for wild adjutant stock. So your greater adjutant stock, this is known as Hargila in the local language. So Hargila army was created by her to protect the population, to protect the wild adjutant or greater adjutant stock. So she has received this UN's Champions of the Earth award. So the headlines were that biologist devotes career to saving bone swallowing stock. इसी stock को कई बारी bone swallowing stock भी बोल दिया जाता है. Let's read about the award first, then we'll talk about what is the initiative that she has been running. Also, you can use this whatever we are studying in your ethics examples. Whenever you study environmental ethics or you see case studies of how to protect environment around you, how to conserve biodiversity around you. So definitely use this example, use her reference as a leader who has worked hard to protect the biodiversity of a particular area. So UNEP's Champions of the Earth honors individuals, groups and organizations whose actions have a transformative impact on the environment. So that is very important कि जो impact है आपका transformative होना चाहिए. It's not that you're doing something just for the sake of it. There should be statistically available data that should show improvement. The annual, this is an annual award. One of our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, also got this award earlier because he was leading a lot of efforts. He was leading India, he is still leading India to moving towards renewable energy. So he was also awarded this award. He was also given this award a few years back. So this is an annual award. It is the UN's highest environmental honor. United Nations Agency का सबसे बड़ा environmental honor है, accorded for transformative action to prevent, halt and reverse ecosystem degradation. It recognizes outstanding leaders from government such as our Prime Minister, civil society, that could be your NGO, some NGO or a leader of some NGO, just like in this case, and the private sector. It was it was started in 2005 and annual award hai. It has been awarded to trailblazers at the forefront of the efforts to protect our natural world. So 3 categories हैं जहाँ पर ये award दिया जाता है. First of all, if you are doing an action that also inspires, so inspiration and action. The second one is entrepreneurial vision. अगर आप कोई ऐसा startup launch करते हैं जो कि ecosystem degradation को रोक सकता है, if you plan a company or you launch a startup or a product which prevents ecosystem degradation, then that counts under entrepreneurial vision. The third one is science and innovation. So let's see who are the people who have got this award earlier. So Dr. Purnima Devi Burman is among the honorees of this year's Champions of the Earth award. There are other people also who have got this award in different categories. From India, in 2018, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, was awarded this, was given this award. Then in 2009, back in 2009, Mr. Tulsi Tanti was the chairman of Suzlon Group. Again, he worked for energy conservation. इनके जो startup ने, इनकी जो company ने Suzlon Group में, for his entrepreneurial vision in combating climate change by efficiency of use of energy. So he was given this award. And in 2016, Afroz Alam, a lawyer who led the cleanup at Mumbai's Versova beach, very popular, he also received this award. So this is the 4th time that somebody has received this award. Now let's talk about Hargila army, and definitely note it in your notes for your GS4 example, or be ready for a case study that you can answer through this example. Alright, so Dr. Burman leads the Hargila army. Let me just show you the picture of Hargila army. Yes, if you can see properly, there are women, and if you look at the sarees of these women, they have the picture of greater adjutant stock on their sarees. So what they do is, they paint or they carry out some kind of embroidery on fabrics. This kind of embroidery or this kind of painting is carried out, and they draw greater adjutant stocks on these fabrics, and by selling off these fabrics as sarees or as textiles, these women earn money, and they use that money to again protect the population of greater adjutant stock. So they're not dependent on anyone or for funds or donations. They're not asking for donations from anyone. They are self-dependent. They are running their own enterprise where they're selling textiles or their own embroidered or painted sarees, and side by side they're also protecting the population of this this species, not just by sharing the painted material or by selling the painted material, but also they carry out a lot of efforts to protect their nests. So, Hargila army consists of over 10,000 women. So, a few of them are visible in the picture, but these are 10,000 women who are working for the protection of the species. They protect nesting sites, they rehabilitate the injured stocks which have fallen from their nest and arrange baby showers to celebrate the arrival of newborn chicks. And this adjutant stock, it has cultural reference also in all the folk songs and poems and festivals and plays of Assam. This adjutant stock is featured. So, a tall bamboo nesting platform for the endangered bird was started building in 2017. That was by the efforts of this particular lady. Her efforts were rewarded a couple of years later when the first greater adjutant chicks were hatched on these experimental platforms. So, whatever the money is coming out of that, they are not just using it to run their homes, but to protect the species better. The IUCN status for this species is endangered, and the span means where it is found. This is the span. It is found in parts of Assam, parts of West Bengal. So, this is where it is found year around. Otherwise, it can obviously fly or move towards other parts of Nepal also, but this part in dark yellow, this is where the species is normally found year around. So, it is found in just small parts of our country. So, protection of this particular species has been lauded and she has got the greatest environmental honor. Now, we will move to the science part of this discussion. If there are any doubts till now, just let me know in the chat section. Alright, good afternoon Pooja. Sham, we understand, but there are certain components that we expect you to cover in your GS itself. For example, the concepts of PSLV, GSLV, how a rocket functions. So, that is covered in the GS static part. Yes, we do explain it here because some students are not aware of that, but I understand that it becomes necessary later also. Alright, any doubts with regards to the topics till now? Big line shots. Mageshwari, what we can do is, we are already running out of time. We have at least 3 topics to go. What we can do is, we can take this topic next week. Alright, if there are no doubts coming with regards to the environment part of this discussion, Weber will take this out at the end of the lecture. That is about your preparation. We are just concerned about the topics that we have discussed till now. So, yes, the next topic is PSLV C54 successfully places Earth observation satellite and 8 nano satellites in orbit. See, India has a lot of rockets now. We started with SLV, then we moved on to Advanced Satellite Launch Vehicle. Now, PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, which was earlier used only for launching satellites in your low Earth orbit or sun synchronous polar orbit. That is also part of low Earth orbit only. It just moves from pole to pole. The satellite that is there in SSPOs or sun synchronous polar orbits, that moves from pole to pole. So, that is the difference. So, earlier PSLV was used for these purposes only. It was not used for geostationary or geosynchronous satellites. So, we named it Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, but the name is a misnomer. It is not just for polar satellites, it can be used for geo-heighted satellites also. So, PSLV C54 successfully places Earth observation satellite, that is your EOS, and 8 nano satellites in orbit. So, that is a huge feat. Your Earth observation satellites, जो भी आप मान लीजिए अगर आपकी Earth इधर है, तो अर्थ को अगर ऑब्जर्व करने के लिए उसकी ऊपर से पिक्चर्स लेनी है, योर अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट्स दे वर्क लाइक कैमरास. सो इफ पिक्चर्स हैव टू बी टेकन फॉर एनी फ्रॉम एनी सैटेलाइट, देन योर सैटेलाइट हैज़ टू बी क्लोज टू द अर्थ सरफेस. तो आप 36,000 की हाइट पर, दैट इज द हाइट ऑफ योर जियो ऑर्बिट्स, आप वहाँ पर अपनी अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट्स नहीं भेज सकते. दे हैव टू बी क्लोजर टू द अर्थ. सो अर्लियर वी हैड अ लॉट ऑफ अर्थ ऑब्जर्वेशन सैटेलाइट्स. योर ओशियन सैट वॉज देयर, रिसोर्स सैट वॉज देयर, Cartosat was there, that was taking pictures of the earth for various purposes, for resource mapping, for ocean mapping, for checking how much forest cover is there in what parts of the country. From now onwards, ISRO has started this denomination ki EOS, that is Earth Observation Satellite, would be the name for all the satellites which are used as cameras to observe the Earth's surface. So next EOS has been launched using PSLV C54. This C54 is the number of launch. So we started with PSLV 1, 2, 3, now we have moved on to 54. So PSLV C54 is the code of launch, and it has launched EOS or Earth Observation Satellite 06 in orbit. So this is the 56th flight of Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle and the 24th flight of the PSLV XL version. See, what is this XL version? I have a picture here, yes. See, PSLV के भी काफ़ी सारे versions होते हैं. For example, if you want to launch a satellite of 1000 kilogram only, then you can use the normal PSLV. But अगर आपको भारी satellite भेजना है, आपके पास एक stronger rocket available नहीं है. If you do not have a stronger rocket available to launch a heavy satellite, or in other words, if you do not want to use a stronger rocket, you want to save on fuel, then what you do is आप इसी रॉकेट के आसपास जो इसकी बेस कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है, आप इसी के आसपास ही कुछ रॉकेट बूस्टर्स लगा देते हैं. यू ऐड सम रॉकेट बूस्टर्स हियर सो दैट मोर थ्रस्ट or more power can be given to this rocket. So as of now we have the PSLV core alone version is there. Core alone vehicle where there are no strap-ons, कोई भी added rocket motors नहीं है. And you have this PSLV XL version which has extended strap-on motors. So इसका जो payload capacity होता है, the amount of weight it can carry into the orbit or in space, that is higher than your PSLV core alone version. So जो आपका PSLV XL का जो है, this is the 24th flight of PSLV XL. The 8 nano satellites include ISRO Nano Satellite 2 for Bhutan, INS-2B, Anand, Astrocast 4 satellites, 2 Thibault satellites, and EOS-6. It is the Ocean Sat series 3rd generation satellite. अब इसका नाम Ocean Sat नहीं है, Earth को observe करने के लिए है. So EOS series ही, for better clarity, ISRO has started naming these satellites as EOS only. So it is envisaged to observe ocean color data, sea surface temperature and wind vector data to use in oceanography, climate change and meteorological applications. Now what are the upcoming missions of ISRO? If you go to the website, they list at least 5 missions. Your Gaganyaan is in plan. Your Navik was later there. Now जो आपका Navik system है ये global करना चाह रहे हैं, so that is also planned. The other one is your Aditya L1 to observe the corona layer of the sun. Lagrangian point 1 पे आपका Aditya L1. L1 stands for Lagrangian point 1. We have discussed this multiple times in our Wednesday current affairs series itself. So you can go back to the previous lectures under the live tab on our YouTube channel. वहाँ पर आपको previous lectures मिल जाएंगे. We have a separate playlist also. So cover all these experiments. We have the SpaceX also for having an Indian space station. We have ExpoSat, that would be our observatory in space. So this is the information about Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. This is the 3rd generation launch vehicle of India. Earlier we had SLV-3 and ASLV operating. It is the first Indian launch vehicle to be equipped with liquid stages. Liquid stage में आपके पास control ज़्यादा होता है एक rocket को लेकर. So your PSLV has 4 stages. The first one is solid, then the second one is liquid, then the third one is solid and the fourth one is again liquid. जो आपके पिछले rockets थे वो 2 solid stages use कर रहे थे. Your ASLV had 2 solid stages and SLV had just 1 solid stage. So your PSLV has a liquid stage also. तो आप वो liquid fuel use करके, जैसे कि आप पेट्रोल या डीजल्स अपनी कार में यूज़ करते हैं, you can turn off the engine and then you have more control. But if you're using a solid fuel, all of it gets burnt at once. तो आपके पास control उतना नहीं होता. So that was a huge feat for India, that first time liquid fuel or liquid engine called the Vikas engine could be used when PSLV was created. So what is the difference? It was developed to launch low Earth orbit satellites into polar and sun synchronous orbits, whereas GSLV, that is your geosynchronous launch vehicle, was developed to launch heavier INSAT class of geosynchronous satellites into orbit. But again PSLV को भी हम geo satellites launch करने के लिए use करते हैं. Then the next topic for today is your World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. This is a very important topic. इसी से रिलेटेड हमने सीज द मेंस का भी आज का क्वेश्चन पूछा है. सो इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स विद रिगार्ड्स टू PSLV एंड द PSLV C54 मिशन, जस्ट लेट मी नो इन द चैट सेक्शन. All right, all right. All right. So World Antimicrobial Awareness Week 2022 ends with Muscat Ministerial Manifesto on Antimicrobial Resistance. So इस टॉपिक को समझने के लिए you must be very clear about antimicrobial resistance. What is it? See, whatever infections are being caused in our body, हमारी बॉडी में जो भी infections होते हैं, they are caused because of germs. कुछ ना कुछ जर्म्स की वजह से इन्फेक्शंस होते हैं. सो डॉक्टर्स व्हाट दे से कि अगर आपको एक बार ही इन्फेक्शन होता है, समबडी इज गेटिंग इन्फेक्टेड वंस और फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, देन दे टेक सम एंटीबायोटिक्स या कोई एंटी माइक्रोबियल चीज़ वो लेते हैं. दे पुट इट इनसाइड देयर बॉडी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एन इंजेक्शन और a tablet, and what happens inside their body is that all these microbes they get killed, but there are few microbes which are left. For example, यहाँ पर जो एक बैक्टीरिया है वो बच गया है. This bacteria was probably resistant to the medicine that you were giving, कि आपने light medicine दी थी and this was resistant to that medicine, so this has not died. But अभी इसका जो number है that is not enough to give you another illness. आपको fever नहीं आएगा, अभी आपको कोई problem नहीं आएगी because the number is very low. Then after some time, due to evolution and due to reproduction, after a few years or after many years, what happens that inside living beings or in the environment also, for example, if bacteria is lying somewhere on the trees or inside rivers or in our food systems, तो ये जो resistant या microbial resistant bacteria होता है, it multiplies, and if this bacteria multiplies, means whatever medicine that you were giving earlier, जो आप पहले दवाई दे रहे थे या जो आप दवाई खा रहे थे, वो अब इस बैक्टीरिया को मार नहीं सकेगी. It will not be able to fight this bacteria and hence the illness will not be cured. So there will be no cure in this case, so you will have to use a stronger medicine. So what you do, you use a stronger medicine. Again, इनमें भी कुछ ना कुछ होंगे जो कि इस मेडिसिन से भी रेजिस्टेंट होंगे, एंड दैट कंटिन्यूज. सो व्हाट वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स इज, क्योंकि हम लोग एंटीबायोटिक्स और वी आर यूजिंग सो मेनी एंटीबायोटिक्स एंड वी आर नॉट टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द हाइजीन एंड थिंग्स. ये जो एंटी माइक्रोबियल रेजिस्टेंस है, there will come a time when we will not have medicines or any advancement in medicine to treat the diseases that we are going through. That will be because क्योंकि ये बैक्टीरिया का evolution या जो ये germs का evolution इतना ज़्यादा हो जाएगा that we will not be able to keep up with the evolution of this bacteria. We will not have medicines available. If you know, around 10 years back, very less number of antibiotics were prescribed. Only mild antibiotics were prescribed. Now for every illness, whether you have a stomach ache, toothache, anything that happens, you go around the corner and you buy an antibiotic. Again, to fight this, the government understood, so India launched a red line campaign. So whatever antibiotics you buy from the pharmacy, आप एक डॉक्टर की प्रिस्क्रिप्शन के बिना एंटीबायोटिक नहीं खरीद सकते हैं. एंड ऑन द कवरिंग ऑफ योर एंटीबायोटिक मेडिसिन, जो उनका पैकेट होता है उसके ऊपर एक रेड लाइन बनी होती है टू जस्ट इन्फॉर्म यू दैट दिस इज नॉट अ नॉर्मल थिंग दैट यू आर गोइंग टू ईट, दैट इज एन एंटीबायोटिक एंड इट कैन गिव यू repercussions in future after a few years. So be careful about how you consume this medicine. So India का जो red line campaign था, that was lauded to fight the antimicrobial resistance. Now what is the emergence and spread of AMR? It occurs naturally over time, usually through genetic changes or evolution. Antimicrobial resistance organisms are found in people. They can be found in animals also. For example, अगर animals को treat करने के लिए भी antibiotics use की गई हैं, तो उनमें भी antimicrobial resistance develop हो सकता है. And if they develop some illness which cannot be treated by any medicine, they develop antimicrobial resistance. Their body develops that. And disease cannot be treated, that disease can be transmitted into human beings as well. So use of antibiotics in animals or antimicrobial resistance development in animals, that is also a problem. In food, plants and the environment, in water, soil and air. So if it is एंटीमाइक्रोबियल रेजिस्टेंस आपके पानी में, आपकी हवा में, आपके सॉइल में प्रेजेंट है, देन यू विल बी कंज्यूमिंग एनी ऑफ दीज थ्री एंड हेंस out of soil your crops would be generated, and hence all of the population, the entire population of the world will get antimicrobial resistance at some point of time. So it is very important to take precautionary measures right now. So they can spread from person to person or between people and animals, including from food of animal origin, whether it's your dairy, whether it's your meat, whatever food you take from animal sources. So what are the drivers or what are the causes of antimicrobial resistance? The misuse and overuse of antimicrobials or antibiotics. The next one is lack of access to clean water, sanitation and hygiene for both humans and animals. Hygiene is very important. The third one is poor infection and disease prevention and control in healthcare facilities and farms. Poor access to quality, affordable medicines, vaccines and diagnostics. What happens is लो क्वालिटी मेडिसिन जब यूज़ करते हैं तो आपके बैक्टीरिया को उन मेडिसिन से फाइट करने की आदत पड़ जाती है, एंड द बैक्टीरिया evolves over time, it develops into stronger bacteria over time. Then you have lack of awareness and knowledge and lack of enforcement of legislation happening at national and international level. This time they have focused on One Health approach. When One Health approach is very important to fight antimicrobial resistance. What is your One Health approach? First of all, human health should be focused upon. Secondly, animal health, and third, environmental health. All these three depend on each other. अगर animals में diseases है तो वो humans में transmit होंगे. If your environment is not healthy, then you will not have healthy human beings. So One Health approach has been focused upon, and they had this ministerial conference, they had global targets to fight antimicrobial resistance. These are the three targets that reduce the total amount of antimicrobials or antibiotics used in agri-food systems by at least 30 to 50% by 2030. कि 30 से 50% कम किया जाए 2030 तक use of antibiotics in agriculture and food systems, so that we do not intake those antibiotics. Preserve critically important antimicrobials for human medicine and ending the use of medically important antimicrobials for growth promotion in animals. काफ़ी सारी जो medicines होती हैं they are used for promoting growth in animals or for increasing milk production in animals. So that should be stopped because that can be done easily. Ensuring that access group antibiotics represent at least 60% of overall antibiotic consumption in humans by 2030. So this was broadly about the manifesto that has come up regarding this Muscat ministerial manifesto on antimicrobial resistance. This topic is important. Antimicrobial resistance is important, especially with regards to India. हमारे seasonal variation बहुत होता है हमारी country में, and that's why we have a lot of diseases here. Especially we were talking about multi-drug resistance, tuberculosis. A few years back, we could see that ट्यूबरक्लोसिस ऐसे लेवल पर जा चुका है काफ़ी इंडियन पॉपुलेशन में जहाँ पर किसी भी मेडिसिन से, किसी भी प्रेजेंट मेडिसिन से उसको ट्रीट नहीं किया जा सकता था. सो दैट वाज अगेन फॉट आउट on a very large scale by the government of the day. So again, prepare these all 6 topics for your prelims as well as mains. Download the PDF from our Telegram channel regarding the weekly current affairs for today. It would be available in the next 1 hour. I'll see you today at 9 PM in Seize the Mains Daily Answer Writing Initiative. Till then, stay tuned to the channel. Webhub about Navik we've discussed in the previous lectures, so you can refer to the previous current affairs lectures. And with regards to online lectures, we are running this weekly current affairs subject wise 2:30 PM at every day, like from Monday to Saturday at 2:30 PM. And you can also check out the other initiatives that we are running on our YouTube channel. So with regards to the topics, if there are any doubts, just let me know, then we'll call this a day. Alright, thank you.